So, I talk a lot about mental health and taking care of your mental health. And I talk about your well being and I talk about self care. So, one thing I noticed that you have to be careful about your environment. The environment you are in can dictate a lot with your mental health. And most of the time, you can control it by getting out of that environment. Sometimes you can't. So, the environments I'm in, and I am speaking specifically on things like be careful about your surroundings. If you're around so many toxic people, it's a high chance you'll become toxic, or that you'll get very scatterbrained, and or that you'll become very just bogged down, drained. If you're a giver, be very careful. A lot of times, your household is their environment. Sometimes it's what you created, right? You created a bunch of codependent, dependent people who rely on you because you do everything as a giver. Empaths, mostly. Another thing is sometimes work. Work, you have environments where a lot of times you can't control who you're around because it may be by way of a team or a team member. Still practice good mental health. And I can't necessarily dictate for you what that means. For some of you, that means get out of that environment. Some of you, it's not that easy. Some of you, you have to get more deep rooted in your spirituality. So if it's God, then amen, right? You got to pray more. Some of you, you have to eat better. Some of you, you have to exercise. Some of you, you may have to have a conversation, a difficult conversation, whatever that means, whatever is going to suit you at that point. Ensure, ensure that you take care of your mental health. I work in a position that's very demanding. It's demanding of myself, my time, my energy, my customer service skills. And so I do evaluate and I be thinking, like, man, you know what? God is funny how he shows us our previous character with our new character, right? At some point I'm evolving. Me and my management talk about developmental stuff, and in this case we're learning how to explore other skill sets in other areas of IT, which I love, right? I love that idea. I feel like I may have graduated from the customer service side, meaning you notice how empaths and givers are always in the service industry, meaning that we tend to serve more of the time. Well, I feel like I've transitioned out of that. Um, and I notice by way of things that are pressing in my heart, things that I'm kind of over now. So I'm noticing, like, sometimes you can notice that if your mental space or health is suffering or fading, that could be a message of God knocking on your heart and saying, it's not where I want you to be, or you got to make a change. And it's up to you to follow those instructions, right? I remember I used to be so stubborn. Now I see signs all over the place. That's why I fast a lot. That's why I am deep rooted into, I want to hear God. And sometimes you hear God through fasting clearer than any other time because there's so much gook and grime and things going on and distractions in your world. So you may have to sit down and shut that body down in terms of empty it out so you can hear God. That'll wake it up. And every time you get to the point where you're confused, you pray. Or when you're hungry, you pray. So you can hear God and you're asking God, listen, I am emptying my body of its nourishment or whatever today because I just want to fill it up with you. Speak to me. Tell me what you have to say. Or please, I beg you, God, to answer these prayers. Um, so, yeah, it's a little tidbit I thought to jump in and kind of guide us. I hope this helps. I hope this helps those. I'm noticing there's a lot of mental issues going on with people in this world, especially post COVID, because a lot of people didn't survive. And I don't mean that physically, I mean that mentally. We really got to take care of our mental health. Some of us suffered from that time of being alone so long, or being confined in a house with maybe someone who wasn't healthy, mentally, physically, verbally, spiritually, maybe someone who was toxic. And if you've had to suffer that, check your mental health. And I don't mean that in the sense of, oh, something may be wrong. These days, we just got to be way more mature and realize that I have to be careful and mindful of what soothes my mental space. And I have to be honest with what's going on. That doesn't mean you crazy. In fact, a lot of us, I see it walking every day. I hear it on the news when I'm hearing murders and everything. Mentally, a lot of people are not right and not good. But to choose to not get the help, or to not cater to yourself in that, or not take care of it, some of it may be extreme, some of it may not. Some of it may just require a new routine of self care. Whatever it is, take care of yourself, um, or it will show itself. Okay, whether you want it to or not. So that's all I got, guys. I decided to drop in and say hi. Now, bye. Deuces.